sprinkles, Santa Claus's special elf. Because everything is special with sprinkles. Santa Claus knows you're special too, and he has something to say to you. So listen close as Santa Claus shares holiday cheer with you. You can leave a special message for Santa Claus and get on the nice list at www.santaclaussays.net. Now here is the big man himself, Santa Claus!
Ho, 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 and Merry Christmas time. I get so excited. I get so excited. Christmas is just a couple of days away. Are you excited too? Are you excited that I'm coming to your house on Christmas Eve? Are you excited to leave Santa Claus some cookies and some hot cocoa? I hope so, because I'm coming to your house and I'm going to leave some surprises. Santa Claus says to be good for goodness sakes. Santa Claus Says is here to bring you three things here at SantaClausSays.net. Three things. We give you some Christmas cheer with some wonderful Christmas jokes, and also the cheer of Sprinkles, our elf, and just the wonderful time that we have together. So Christmas cheer. We tell a Christmas story, and today we're talking about a story called the Christmas at the Hollow Tree Farm. And then we read a letter to Santa. And we want you to know you can always give your letter to Santa anytime, all year round, here at SantaClausSays.net. And that is where you can leave me a voicemail or an email or a text message, and I will return those to you. It's so good to be with you and to have a lot of fun together here in Christmas. It's just a couple of days away, isn't it? So, there's the Glockenspiel, boys and girls, which means it's time for our joke for today. Here's our joke for today. What did our jokes for Christmas? What did Santa say when he parked his sleigh? There's no place like home. Why did the snowman need a dandruff shampoo? Because he had snowflakes. One more. Why did the girl get celery for Christmas? She was a stocking stuffer. Oh, we have some fun here at Santa Claus Says, don't we? So we love to be with you. I hope you're having in the Christmas spirit. That means to be good for goodness sakes to everybody in your life. That means singing and being happy and doing good deeds, helping around the house, and being pleasant. That is your most important. Don't be cross. Don't be mean. Don't get on the naughty list. Not now. Be on the nice list by having the Christmas spirit all year round. Well, there's the Glockenspiel, boys and girls, which means it's time for our story of the day. And the story of the day is called Christmas at Hollow Tree Farm. We'll have this story in two parts, but we did want you to know you can always go back and listen to all of our great stories we have here at Santa Claus Says, and we go back all the way to Thanksgiving time, and you can listen to our stories at SantaClausSays.net, on our podcast, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and on our YouTube channel, which is at youtube.com/Santa Claus Says. But here's the story of Christmas at the Hollow Tree Farm by Albert Bigelow Payne. Once upon a time, when the robin, turtle, and squirrel and jackrabbit had all gone home for the winter, nobody was left in the hollow tree except the raccoon and the possum and the old black crow. Of course, the others used to come back and visit, and Mr. Dog too, now that he had got to be good friends with all the deep woods people. Mr. Dog told them a lot of things they had never heard before, things he'd learned at Mr. Man's house. He told them about Santa Claus and how the old fellow came down the chimney at Christmas Eve to bring presents to Mr. Man and his children, who always hung up their stockings for them. And Mr. Dog said that once he had hung up his stockings too, and he got a nice bone in it. He said that Santa Claus always came to Mr. Man's house and that whenever the children hung up their stockings, they were always sure to get something in them. Well, the Hollow Tree people had never heard of Santa Claus. You see, Santa Claus only comes to Mr. Man's house. But they didn't know that, so they thought if they hung up their stockings, he'd come there too. And that's what they made up their minds to do. Mr. Possum looked over at all of his stockings to pick and picked out the biggest one. And Mr. Crow made himself a new pair on purpose. Mr. Raccoon said he never knew Mr. Crow to make himself such big stockings before. But Mr. Crow said he was getting old and needed things bigger. And when he loaned one of his new stockings to Mr. Raccoon said, "That's so." And then he guessed that they were all right after all. They didn't tell anyone about it at first, but by and by, and then Mr. Dog, they told Mr. Dog what they were going to do. When Mr. Dog heard, he wanted to laugh right out. You see, he knew Santa Claus never went anywhere except to Mr. Man's house. And he thought it would be a great joke on the Hollow Tree people when they hung up their stockings and didn't get anything. By and by, Mr. Dog thought it would be too bad for them to be disappointed. You see, Mr. Dog liked them all, and when he had thought about it a minute, he made up his mind for himself to play Santa Claus. He knew just how Santa Claus looked because he'd seen his pictures at Mr. Man's house, and he thought how it would be great fun to dress up and take a bag of presents to the Hollow Tree and fill up those stockings. But first he had to find a way of getting in. So he said to them he didn't see how they could expect Santa. Their chimneys were so small, and Mr. Crow said they could leave their latch string out, which was just what Mr. Dog wanted. Then he asked Mr. Dog to Christmas dinner, so if he could get away to see what presents they got in their stockings. Mr. Dog said to himself and went off laughing. We're going to pause the story there, boys and girls, and finish the story tomorrow. So you want to be with us tomorrow as we just have a couple of days before Christmas gets here, as we complete the story about Christmas at the Hollow Tree Inn. It's a great story. And make sure you go back and listen to all of our great stories we had here at Santa Claus Says. You can find them all at SantaClausSays.net. Well, boys and girls, there is the glockenspiel. That means it's time for our letter of the day. Our letter of the day to Santa Claus is from Che. And Che is 7 years old, and he would like a new tablet for his schoolwork. He also wants a karate keychain, and he loves karate. And he thanks Santa Claus as well. Well, thank you, Che, for being on the nice list and for being a good boy and for being so studious with your schoolwork that you want a new tablet for your schoolwork. And I think it's wonderful that you want a karate keychain because you're active in your karate class. I love it when children are reading and thinking and active physically. You need to do both. Use your brain and use your body. You need to do both and use your heart to love on other people. You can do all those things, I know. And that's what Santa Claus loves to see. So I'm looking forward to seeing Che and all the boys and girls of the world at Christmas time. Just a reminder, you can always write to me, Santa Claus, or give me a voicemail at SantaClausSays.net. That's also the place to leave me a text message or an email. Well, boys and girls, there is the glockenspiel, which means it's about time to say goodbye on this episode of Santa Claus Says. It's been a wonderful joy to be with you, but I'm busy. I got to get ready. Christmas Eve is just a couple of days away, and I got me and Sprinkles and all the other elves have a lot of work to do to get ready to see you. But I did want to remind you that we have two special shows that you want to see here at Santa Claus Says. You can always find them at live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time at Santa Claus at youtube.com/Santa Claus Says, and then on the podcast on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts and at SantaClausSays.net. Two special shows we got coming up though. On Christmas Eve, just a couple of days from now, we read The Night Before Christmas and All Through the House. a wonderful reading of the story that you're going to want to hear. And then on Christmas Day, December 25th, we are going to read the greatest story ever told, the story of the first Christmas, which is about the birth of Jesus. The most important part of Christmas is it celebrates the birthday of Jesus the Christ. Much more important than Santa Claus, much more important than all the presents and all of that is about the birthday of Jesus. So right from the Bible, on Christmas morning, December 25th, we read the story of Christmas. So we hope that you'll be with us for all of those things. We love you. Santa Claus listens to you, and Santa Claus says to be good for goodness sakes. Goodbye, boys and girls. We'll see you at Christmas. Do not forget to the popcorn cookies.
You're special to Santa Claus, just like sprinkles. Get on Santa's nice list at SantaClausSays.net and watch Santa Claus Says live on YouTube. Tell him Sprinkles Says